Hi, and welcome to another presentation from your business tutor, learning your way, anytime, anywhere. So today's presentation is going to start with a really strange question, which is, how do fish fingers get onto your plate? And the simple answer to that is today's presentation, sectors of industry. So what are we going to learn in today's presentation? First of all, we're going to find out about the different sectors of industry. After that, we're going to find out how those sectors of industry are connected or linked in what's called a chain of production. And then finally, we're going to find out how value is added through that chain of production. So let's start with our first question, which was, what are the sectors of industry? And the first one is the primary industry. And they're involved in the collection or harvesting of natural resources. And you'll remember from our previous presentation that natural resources are things which occur on earth by themselves. So things like cows, sheep, grass, oil, coal. These are all natural resources that we would find on earth. And primary industry businesses collect or harvest these resources. And they would include things like a farmer, or an oil rig in the North Sea, a coal mine. All these businesses would be in the primary industry. So our second sector of industry is the secondary industry, or sometimes referred to as the manufacturing industry. And they have an incredibly important role, because what they do is they take the natural resources that have been harvested or collected by the primary sector and then convert those resources into an actual finished product that we want to consume. So they have an incredibly important role in creating that finished product. Businesses that would be in this sector of industry would include a food manufacturer, a car plant, a microchip business. All these types of businesses would be in the secondary sector. Now we can turn to our third sector of industry, which is the tertiary sector, or sometimes called the service sector. And what this sector does is delivers or sells the final product to the customer. But they also do something else as well. They're also involved in providing services. And therefore the tertiary sector includes businesses such as supermarkets that maybe sell the product to us, or a clothes shop that sell the product to us, but also includes businesses that provide services such as schools or hospitals. So in terms of the UK, what size are each of these sectors? Well, the primary sector is probably the smallest, and it accounts for around about 5 to 10% of our economy. The manufacturing sector is approximately 20% of our economy, and the tertiary sector is around about 70 to 75% of our economy, by far the largest part. So let's now turn to our second question, which was, how are the sectors of industry connected? Now we've already said that the sectors of industry are connected through what's called a chain of production. Now a chain of production is how businesses are linked together. How what one business makes is then sold to another, they then improve it and sell it to another business, who then eventually sell it to the final customer. The way in which these businesses are connected, the way in which they sell to each other, creates a chain of production. From the raw material all the way through to the selling of the final product to the customer. So let's look at the chain of production through an example. Think about a fisherman going into the North Sea to catch some fish. They then bring it ashore and sell it to a food manufacturer. The food manufacturer then takes the fish, converts them into fish fingers, and then sells them to a supermarket. And the supermarket then sells the product to us, the customer. We can see how those businesses are linked in the chain of production. So let's turn to our final question, which was, how is value added through the chain of production? Now put simply, value is added by improving the product at each stage in the chain of production. Each business in the chain makes the product better. And the best way to see this is by looking at our previous example. Think of fish in the North Sea. They have no value to us. Why? Because we cannot access those fish. But if a fisherman goes out into the North Sea and catches those fish and brings them ashore, those fish now have value. And that's proven because the food manufacturer is willing to pay money for those fish. Now the food manufacturer then goes on and improves those fish, takes the skins off, takes the bones out and makes them into fish fingers. We can see they've improved the product. They've created value. And as a consequence, the supermarket is willing to pay money for those fish fingers. But to the same degree, the supermarket now improves the product by distributing it throughout all their supermarkets, making it easily available to us in local stores. They have once again improved that product for the customer. And as a consequence, we are willing to pay money for those fish fingers. So what we can see is how value is added. Fish in the North Sea have absolutely no value to us, but fish fingers in the supermarket do, and as a consequence we are willing to pay money for them. That's the concept of adding value. By improving the product through each and every stage, we add value, we create wealth in our economy, because each and every business can sell what they make for more than it cost them. So wealth creation links to the concept of profit. So by adding value, by creating wealth, we create profit in our economy. And that should result in everybody feeling better off. So what have we learned in today's presentation? Well, first of all, we found out about the different sectors of industry. After that, we identified how those sectors of industry are connected or linked in a chain of production. And then we went on to demonstrate how value is added through that chain of production. But what I also want to leave you with is an acronym to help you remember the sectors of industry. And that acronym is PIST. P-I-S-T. P, to help you remember the primary industry. I, so that we remember this acronym is to do with the sectors of industry. S, for the secondary sector. And T, for the tertiary sector.